This is Not a Player Pod, a sports podcast by fans and for fans covering everything from the hardwood to the gridiron. So without further ado, let's send it off to the stars of the show, Lewis, Max, Jack, and John, because ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is nap time.
Welcome back, people. This is the Not a Player podcast. We're back. The AFC is done. We're now going to be talking about the NFC. We got a little preview of football with college football this weekend, but the real deal starts with the NFL this week. Thursday night football, Eagles-Cowboys should be a good one. Fellas, how are we feeling? The NFC is more our bread and butter, so I'm excited to talk.
Agreed.
Yeah, the NFC is a lot more fun to talk about. I'm excited to get into it. There's a lot more storylines. The AFC is very top-heavy. The NFC, there's a lot more room for excitement on the bottom.
Completely agree.
All right. We want to start with the NFC East. We're going to do that, and then at the end, we'll give our division winners. And unlike we did at the end of the AFC, we'll talk maybe a couple of props that we like and our Super Bowl winners, our Super Bowl picks. So let's get into it. The NFC East. It used to be called the NFC Least, but no longer. Let's start with the Cowboys. Lewis's favorite team. So, Lewis, why don't you go first? I'm not going to step on your toes here.
So at least we recorded this podcast when we did, because last week when we recorded the AFC, I don't think Mike Parsons was traded yet. So the timing worked out.
Very good point.
So the timing worked out very well, because it turns out that the Dallas Cowboys made one of the dumber trades of the year, and not due to just letting Micah Parsons go, but just the timing of it. If you trade him away in June, you get a better return. If you trade him away before the draft, you get a better return. If you trade him away at some point, probably during this year, you get a better return. So it's more the timing of it. But the Packers did pay 2 first-round picks. Parsons does have this weird back issue that came up, and I'm not really sure if that's true or not, or like how serious it is, but the Packers don't seem, overly concerned about it. On the Dallas front, this is a very strange spot. Their fans, I don't think, have felt lower in the last 20 years. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like they have already given up on the season before it started. Their over-under is still 7.5, and I will be going over on this team. I cannot quit the Cowboys. Their offense is going to be high-powered, and I'm talking high-powered. We got Dak Prescott slinging it, healthy. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens are the Jamar Chase and T. Higgins 2.0. They might even have a bigger year than Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. They're going to be throwing the ball all around the park. I think they can put together 8 wins. That's all you need, just 8. 8 and 9.
Yep,
Max, your thoughts?
I don't know if it's the Netflix doc that has me feeling high on the Cowboys, but I kind of understand. I want to take at least Jerry Jones' side on the trade. I think Micah Parsons seemed to be kind of a cancer to deal with, even though he didn't go through the agent and whatnot. He said, she said stuff. But I like the way Jerry handles business. He didn't really do anything for them anyways. What did he do in the last 3 years as far as winning? So I think it's maybe Herschel Walker trade 2.0. Next year's the Cowboys' year. I definitely have their under, but I think they will be potentially the highest scoring team in the NFL. But 6 to 7 wins, max.
So throughout the AFC portion of our preview, we agreed a lot. And unfortunately, Lewis, I'm going to have to agree with you once more here. I don't love the Cowboys this year, but I just believe they have too much talent to not win 8 games. 8 games, 7.5 is a low number for a team that has this much firepower offensively. I'm unsure. I know, but this division isn't crazy good outside. Well, I guess it is pretty good, the Eagles and the Commanders. I looked at the Giants name, and that made me think it wasn't as good as it is. But their division is decent. I just think 7.5 is too low. I don't have that many other thoughts on it. With regards to the Micah Parsons trade, Kenny Clark isn't nothing. He is a valuable player. I think the Packers will miss him. But outside of that, Micah Parsons is just 10x what they got back. Let's move on. The Giants. Their number is 5.5. Is at least that's what I have for them. I guess I can go first here. I'm going to take the under. Unlike the Cowboys, I think they have a lack of talent. Russell Wilson is a guy that will win some games out of nowhere, but what are the odds Russell Wilson is starting after, let's say, 5, 6 games? I think they really like Jackson Dart, but again, I don't think Jackson Dart's ready to win a whole lot of games. So I'm going to take the under on the Giants.
Listen, I really kind of agree with you on multiple things. I don't think they have a lot of talent, but where they do have talent is where you need talent in the NFL, and that is at the pass rush position. I kind of made a Chris Collinsworth there. I went pass rush, but they have the pass rush. They have the quarterback, and that's not Russell Wilson. That's
Do
Jackson
they?
Dart. He will be in by week 4. Let me pull up their schedule really quick.
Whoever took Jackson Dart in the fantasy rookie draft, smart move.
Yeah.
Because so they got the Cowboys, Chiefs, Chargers, Saints, Eagles, Broncos. That's a little bit of a gauntlet of the first few weeks. They come out of that like 2-5. Their schedule gets pretty easy the second half of the year. And I think they can sneak into 6 to 7 wins. They have good wide receivers and neighbors. They might have a running game. You got Brian Daboll, who I think is a really good coach and who can really get most out of his quarterback. We saw what he did with Daniel Jones, even when Daniel Jones was horrible.
Thank you, Vikings defense.
Thank you, Vikings defense, for Daniel Jones' contract. But I think he can make this quarterback work, and I think that his job depends on it. And so he will not be afraid to toss Russie to the side and go with the hot hand and Jackson Dart. I think they might be a fun team. This is my lock of the NFC East is the Giants over.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Lewis, I must agree with the over. I think this is my favorite quarterback room in the NFL. Really, a lot of characters. You got Russ, Jackson Dart.
Is Jameis still there?
Always great Jameis Winston leading Bible study. I think vibes are up in New York. I am going to take their over as well. And I think Jackson Dart will end up being the starter.
Brian Daboll being Lewis, you saying Brian Daboll's a great coach, I think is a step too far. Maybe decent
maybe that's
coach.
a stretch. He's a decent coach. He's been given a horrible situation, and I think with the good roster, he can be a good coach.
And I don't think he's afraid to put Jackson Dart in there either.
No, because if they just do mediocre without him,
they start going down. He's going to put Russ to the side.
I don't remember what coach we were talking about, but we were talking about how a coach would help save his job by having the excuse of the young quarterback rather than keeping. So maybe that's another example of it. I can't remember what AFC team that was.
Who was that?
All right. Let's move on to the Eagles. Now I'm curious because I can't imagine Lewis is going over on all of these teams, so he has to go under on one. The Eagles 11.5. They're a very good football team. They have no weak links. They just won a Super Bowl. The number's 11.5. If this was 12.5, I would be, thinking about it longer. I'm going over 11.5. I've granted myself the ability to go over by choosing the under on the Giants. Let's hear what you guys have to say.
I don't have much more to add to that. Yeah, sorry. I'm going over as well. I don't see any reason that they wouldn't. Just their schedule is tough. But I think the number is pretty attractive at 10.5.
11.5.
Yeah, 11.5.
Attractive. I got 12.
10.5 would look very attractive.
12 wins.
So last year in the Super Bowl, I think they started 22 guys who started the start of the year as Week 1 starters, and that just shows they were the healthiest team in the league. They've already had a couple weird injury things pop up. That's Landon Dickerson. He's got the guard. I think he'll be back for Week 1. However, I just think that this team rolls. I got their over too. We're going 3 overs in this division.
I knew you were doing that.
I just don't see how this roster loses too many games. They're too deep. They can run the ball. Jalen Hurts, I think, will take another step with the weight off his shoulders too. He doesn't have the Philly fans screaming at him. They're going to tush push all over the field this year too, because remember they tried to ban the tush push at some point this summer, and I think they're just going to shove it to the rest of the league, being like, look what you tried to get out of this league. Here's 10 times as much of it.
Well, that's interesting. The over for Lewis. I thought when you were talking about the healthy team last year, you were going to pivot and go under, and you stuck with it, went with the over. All right, Commanders.
I think they'll get lucky. All right, what'd you guys take there? I got to write it down. I forgot to write it down.
I'm taking the over on the Eagles. I think we're all on the over. The Commanders number is 9.5. Max, I'm going to start with you here.
I'm going under. Under that number. Shout out Cousin Sal. Brought up a good point. This is the oldest team in football. Their average age is well over 30. I just don't see where they improved at all either. It's never a good sign when your number one receiver doesn't participate in training camp. Under.
Yeah.
Tough division.
Speaking of that, it kind of reminded me a lot of the Ayuk situation from the previous year. And remember, he held out all of training camp and unfortunately got hurt pretty early in the year. Not saying that Terry McLaurin's going to get hurt, but even so, Ayuk was having a slow start before then. I think just those reps all training camp might be a little tough to catch up from. This is the easiest regression pick of anything. Mm-hmm. Everyone's doing it, and I thought I was original when I thought of it a month ago, and then I listened to a bunch of different podcasts and read a bunch of articles, and everyone and their mother was picking it. So I guess I'm not as original, but I'm taking the under.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we're all three going to be going with the under here. 9.5. This is probably one of the harder picks for me. 9.5. I was a little shocked after the year they had last year that this wasn't maybe 10.5. So I'm going 9. I'm going under. I think there's some injury risk with Jaden. I think that'll be a thing his entire career. We just with how skinny he is and how much he likes to run. I think there's weird stuff with Terry. I think there's some luck involved too. Last year they felt super lucky. Dan Quinn always going for it on fourth down and then seemingly always getting it. That Hail Mary against the Bears seemed to be luck on their side last year. So I'm guessing maybe some regression to the mean.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's the NFC East.
Division
We're
winners.
moving on. Do we want to do division winners now or at the end?
We were doing them as we went last time, I think.
Okay.
We'll do playoffs at the end, but division winners now.
I like the Eagles.
I'm going Philadelphia as well.
Okay, that's a pretty easy one.
3 for
All right,
3.
next, NFC West. Some intriguing teams in this division, not going to lie. We're going to start with the Arizona Cardinals, a team last year I was very high on sneakily going into the year. I'm going to stay that way. And it's not because of Kyler Murray, it's because their coach. I think Jonathan Gannon, sure, he might be a little goofy, he might be a little weird, pew, 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 that type of thing. But I do think he's a smart coach. I like what the culture he's built there. They added some great defensive help. They got Josh Sweat, who was on the Eagles last year, helped them win a Super Bowl. They drafted a couple of good defensive guys, Walter Nolan, Will Johnson, the cornerback. I don't think Kyler's all that good, so I wouldn't go way over the 8.5 number, but I am going to go a little bit over that. And I think this is one of the sneaky picks a lot of people are taking this year with the Arizona Cardinals. So what say you?
I think that this is the biggest overthink pick that people have been taking when they have been taking the over in this pick. And it's just simple. This coach is a nothing. Kyler's kind of a meh. And I just don't see this team being anything great. Marvin Harrison, they missed. They picked the wrong receiver. I've got them going 8-9. That's an under.
I think
there's far more intriguing teams in this division.
I agree with that. I think Marvin will have a better year this year. But I agree with you. When you're not sure, I think you just look at quarterback, look at coach, and none of them instill too much confidence in me. So I'm going under as well.
I agree on the Marvin Harrison. I would be patient with him. He didn't forget how to play football. He had tons of talent at Ohio State. I don't think he forgot how he might have had a rough year. I don't think Kyler's the greatest quarterback to have as a rookie receiver. Throws kind of a weird ball, runs around way too much. But I don't agree with the Jonathan Gannon is a meh head coach. I think he is more than a meh head coach.
I think he's on the hot seat if this year doesn't go well. I think that both
not yet.
I think both him and Steichen in Indy could be on the hot seat. Remember those two coordinators? They were both Philadelphia coordinators. They could both be out at the end of this year.
I would agree more on the Steichen, the Shane Steichen.
Steichen.
I think it's Steichen. You just made me call him.
I really went SH on that one.
That's twice now, SH. All right.
Yeah.
The Rams, the number's 9.5. Lewis, why don't you go first?
So, in around June and July, this team was my Super Bowl pick. And that was when I thought Matthew Stafford was going to be healthy, looking to make one final push. I still think that they are going to start out slow because the Rams start out slow every year and heat up as the year goes on. If we're talking good coaches, this guy is a certified good coach. He's not just like maybe he's a good coach. McVay is a top 3 coach in the league, in my opinion. I don't think that's a hot take opinion either. And I think I can see 9.5 as the over right now. I see them barely sneaking over that. It all just depends on if Stafford stays healthy. Because if it's Jimmy G, he's going to get Devontae killed again. Devontae left the Raiders to get away from Jimmy G, and he might be back in hell with Jimmy G. We're not sure. We're not sure. But I'm excited to watch this Rams team play. We saw how good their defense was firsthand when they played Minnesota in the wild card game. And they gave Philadelphia the best game of the year last year in the snow in the playoffs. That was the closest Philly got to losing, and I think that this is just an if Stafford stays healthy bet, so I will not be actually betting on it, but just for this purposes, I'm going over.
I'm a complete believer in the Rams as well. Mainly because of Sean McVay. Hard to go against that guy, and I think even if Stafford does go down, I think he can get a lot out of Jimmy G. There's always a resurgence of one quarterback. Sam Darnold last year. Could be Jimmy G.
Jimmy G's been in the league for a long time to have a resurgence.
No. But I think if anyone can do it, it'd be Sean McVay or KOC for that matter. But I'm taking the Rams over. I think they upgraded getting Devontae instead of Cooper Kupp, who I think will also have a good year with a change of scenery. But I think Devontae is an upgrade for Matthew Stafford.
What's the cutoff of having a resurgence? Like, how many years do you get until you're just...
Yeah, at some point, you are what you are.
I think it's if you go from bad to good. That's a resurgence.
I guess that, like, Darnold was in year 7 last year, so that was pretty impressive. But, go ahead.
Baker's had a career resurgence.
Yeah.
All right. You guys both taking the over. I am going with the under. I think people are forgetting that prior to last year, nobody would have ever thought Matthew Stafford could stay healthy for an entire year. He did it. There's no way he does again. I'm taking the under solely based on Matthew Stafford not staying healthy. There's no chance he stays healthy. He got older. That's mean he gets healthier. And so I will be taking the under. They did.
This is his last ride, so he's going to be giving everything he got. I think this is his last.
It doesn't. He could give it. He's been giving it all he's got his entire career. I remember the videos from him in Detroit running on one leg. Doesn't mean you can do it at age whatever he is. So I actually really like that under. Yeah, that's old. He's gonna.
Is that your lock? Is that a lock pick or is that?
It's one of my favorites. Yes. Next, the 49ers. Numbers 10.5. I'm kind of going against what I just said with Christian McCaffrey, but this is a team that I feel like people are probably going to be pretty high on, considering that I don't feel like Kyle Shanahan's too good of a coach. They have too many good players. I'm kind of a Brock Purdy believer. I don't know. I just think until Christian McCaffrey gets hurt, I think they're going to be very good. And I feel like he's due, unlike Stafford, he's due for a healthy season.
You're making just like the exact point in the opposite way right now.
Correct. But unlike Stafford, Stafford's due for an injury year. Christian is due for a healthy year. When you look at Christian McCaffrey's numbers when he plays, they are ridiculous. I mean, this dude scores 2 touchdowns a game, it feels like. And over 100 yards every game. He's very good. So I like the over, 10.5. I think they're going to have a great year.
Who do the Niners have at week 1 in receiver? Like, is Ayuk back? Isn't he hurt?
He's not going to be back for a while.
Speaking of a player that I think
Like
people are talking
Jawan
about,
Jennings, is he going to be their number one
no,
receiver?
no,
Kittle would be number
I
one target.
this is easy. His name's Ricky Pearsall. Go look at the last 2 weeks of the year last
Yeah.
year. His numbers, he had like 9 catches and 150 yards and multiple touchdowns in both of the last 2 games. This dude is going to have a breakout year. Unfortunately, he got
Okay.
shot early last year, but he's back and he is a stud. And Juwan
I
Jennings is a good player too, by the way.
If you take a look at this team's schedule, they might have the biggest
Easy.
cupcake schedule I've ever seen in my life. That being said, I'm going under. This defense is bad. But you know who's back? And
Robert
this might
Salah.
Yeah. Big Bobby Salah. I actually love Robert Salah as a DC, but I think it's going to take a year for him to get anything out of his players. Didn't they lose like 8 guys on defense this year? All their good players are gone. They've still got some studs on offense, but they're still already beat up at the start of the year right now. McCaffrey, I don't really trust him. I don't know if I trust Purdy fully without like perfect receivers around him.
For whatever reason, I think ignorance is bliss for me when it comes to 49ers defense. I don't know what it is, if it's Robert Saleh being back. I feel like their defense is always good, and I'm going to continue to believe.
Okay, I'm just gonna kind of mark their defense and be like, I don't trust them. But listen to the schedule. They go Saints, Cardinals, Jags, Rams, Bucks, Falcons, Texans, Giants, Rams, Cardinals, Panthers, Browns, Titans,
Yeah.
Colts, Bears, Seahawks.
Oh, easy.
Like, there's a few
And
hard
you
games in there.
still
every
like
team,
the under.
and I still like the under. I think they win 10 games. They sneak into the playoffs, but I don't see them doing anything.
No,
Doesn't it kind of feel like when they're good, they're great, and when they're bad, they're really bad?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think this is a year that they're just okay. They're due for a first round loss.
A lot of being due here.
Yeah.
Lewis, I was going back and forth too because their schedule, but settled on under just because I think Shanahan seems like such a douche to play for when things aren't going well. Like he gets on his.
Yeah.
I do. I don't actually think he gets the
team
most
quit on
out
him
of his
last year?
guys. The team quits on him. So unless they can get a really hot start, I love the under. But yeah, don't trust McCaffrey either. Kind of the same points as you, Lou.
All right.
I think he's too in touch with his body, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
He needs to be 100% perfect, or he feels everything.
Yeah, he's kind of like a little bit of Ferrari. Like if one thing gets a little punctured, he's done.
Yep. Needs to go see a specialist.
Well, I'm happy we're disagreeing more on this NFC side. It makes for better podcasting here. Seahawks, the last team in this division. This is my favorite pick of any team in the NFL.
Me too.
I will be going with the under for the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, complete opposite reasons.
Yeah.
I love this.
Few reasons. They lost DK Metcalf. I think that hurts. And here's the number one reason. Do the Seahawks have a good offensive line? The answer is no, they don't. Is Kevin O'Connell coaching the Seattle Seahawks? The answer is no. What did we see the last 2 weeks when the Vikings offensive line started playing like a Seahawks offensive line? Well, Sam Darnold forgot how to play quarterback. And so for what reason do people believe that when Sam Darnold feels pressure, he doesn't get happy feet? He doesn't have Kevin O'Connell as his coach, and this offensive line isn't good. They're going to see Los Angeles Rams playoff game Sam Darnold for probably 90% of this season, and I'm very intrigued to watch it. I think this under is a stone cold cinch.
Max, go ahead.
I love the Seattle Seahawks. I am taking their over. I still believe in Sam Darnold. I've heard the O-line has some issues, but I think Cooper Kupp is going to be such a lifeline for him. He has great accuracy when he has a little bit of time. He does hold on to the ball a little too long, but I believe in that connection, and I believe in their coaching staff on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to have some good defensive schemes, and I think running the ball is going to be key for them. I have the over.
I did love this pick, and I have the over as well. And I loved it more till about 5 seconds ago when I looked at who their wide receivers are. and their wide receivers are Cooper Kupp and Torrey Horton is their second wide receiver. So I don't even know who that is.
I do, and he is a stud. Trust me on this one. I loved Torrey Horton in college, Colorado
Okay.
State receiver. That's going against my point, but don't be shocked if that guy is a breakout player.
All right, you're going to talk me into it a little bit. So we're going to go with the over because I think that they did beef up their offensive line a little bit. They got Gray Zabel out of the draft, who they can build this offensive line around. He'll be a leader. I think Sam Darnold just needs to game manage it. He doesn't need to be anything great. Their defense is going to be very good under a year or two Mike McDonald defense. Mm-hmm. This is the old Ravens coach who had that defense buzzing for years, and I think that it just takes a little bit for some of these teams to get caught up in these defensive schemes. So I'm going to go easy over for them. I think they could win the division. I think that their run game's going to be really good. I think Kenneth Walker is going to have a monster year if he stays healthy, which hopefully he does. And I just think that this defense is going to be very difficult to play, and they'll have some life in this division. I don't think this division is as particularly hard as people think either. So I've got their over.
That is going to be a team we're going to be keeping an eye on because I really like that under. All right. Let's. Do we want to save the NFC North for last, or do we want to go right?
Are we doing divisional winner?
Let's do divisional winner. You're right.
Well, that's right.
Going to Seattle.
I've got the Seahawks as well. Boom.
Wow. I think the Seahawks have the least amount of wins in this division. Book it.
Okay.
All right. I like the 49ers to win that division.
All right. Should we go to Atlanta?
Let's do that. Let's go NFC South. Atlanta Falcons.
7.5.
Michael Penix. 7.5 is the number. Why don't you guys go first?
Max, go ahead.
I'm re-looking at their schedule. I don't know.
I'm looking at their schedule right now too, and I like the over. I just think that this team has a higher floor than 7 wins. I could see them missing the playoffs with kind of an 8-win or a 9-win look, but that doesn't mean that they're going to go under their win total. I think that they could win some of these weird close games, but also if this goes south, it could go south very quickly. If Michael Penix is throwing interceptions, because he did throw the most interceptions in college, if he gets hurt, this could go south, because then it's just like, all right, we're getting Kirk Cousins back in there. I don't really know who they have on defense. They did one of the dumbest trades of all time during the draft and throwing away their next year's first-round pick. So, like, they're all in, but, like, not really all in. Like, they still have a rookie quarterback, so I don't really know what they're fully doing. That said, I think that their floor is high. So, 8 wins. Not my greatest reasoning of all time, but that's what we're going with.
Yeah, I'm not really a Penix Jr. believer.
They've got fun offensive weapons.
Too.
Bijan, London.
Yeah,
Mooney.
their offense could be buzzing. I've gone back and forth on this one. To go against you, I'll go they're under.
All right.
For no really good reason either. Their division sucks, but...
I'm going to have to disagree on that last point, but we'll get there at a later time. I like the over for the Atlanta Falcons. I think their offense is going to be deadly. They give me vibes of like the last few years of the Bucks with Baker, or I guess 2 years with Baker Mayfield. I think they're going to score 1 billion points. I think their games are going to be uber entertaining. I think Penix is going to throw 1 million interceptions, which is why one of the props that I found was Michael Penix to lead the NFL in interceptions, 14-1. But I think it might be a 320 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and 3 interceptions type stat performances. You might see a lot of that out of Michael Penix. I think Drake London's going to have a really big year. People are still waiting for Kyle Pitts to maybe do something in his NFL career.
This is the year. This is the Kyle
This
Pitts
could
year.
be the year.
I kind of think
Slow
this is the
and
Kyle
can't
Pitts
block.
year.
He's a bad wide receiver.
I kind of think this is his year.
This could be the year. And Bijan's a stud. So I like their over at 7.5. Let's move on. The Carolina Panthers. The number is 6.5. If the Seahawks are my favorite pick, this is my second favorite pick. The over for the Carolina Panthers. I am a Bryce Young stan. I've been buying stock even when he was benched, even when he wasn't
Even when he
sniffing
was
the field
benched.
less. I've always been a believer in Bryce Young. I might be a bigger believer now than when he was benched. That's fair. But he ended the year
Isn't their
really good
defense
last
just
year.
like horrible?
Their defense isn't great, but 6.5 is a low number. I think Dave Canales is an underrated coach. He was great as an OC with the Bucks, and he proved to turn around the Panthers' offense last year, late in the year. They were playing some fun games. I'm not going to lie. At the end of the year last year, and Bryce Young was showing things. They got Tet McMillan. They've got some running back guys that are decent. Chuba Hubbard, and there's one other guy I can't remember they picked up maybe.
Like Coker?
So I like the
maybe?
Panthers over.
I've flip flopped on this team about 3 different times. I landed on under just because of how bad their defense is. It's more against their defense than Bryce Young because I kind of am a Bryce Young believer. I think that he'll be able to keep them in games, but who's he going to throw the ball to? Tet McMillan, and like that's it. Xavier Legette.
Jalen Coker,
Legette?
Like
Xavier
everyone just got
Legette.
hurt. Everyone just got hurt on there. Didn't Coker just get hurt? Because they went to trade with Thielen if that wasn't the case. So I think that they win exactly 6 games for the under, and I just think their defense isn't good enough to keep up. They're going to be a fun team. They're going to be a tease buster. So I went like bet against this team and teasers because I could see them losing and covering a lot of games this year.
Good point.
I didn't flip
Max.
flop on this one at all. I count 6 wins, maybe. So I'm going under. Not really as big of a fan of Brees Hall as you guys. Bryce Hall.
Brees?
Brees.
Right, Brees Hall into Bryce Hall, the content creator. We're
Which
going
one
to
is
talk about
which?
Bryce.
Bryce Young. Well,
You went from Jets running back to TikToker.
Max is big in the TikTok game. You might have to watch his TikTok podcast coming up.
Speaking
soon,
of which,
following the
follow
latest
us
drama.
on TikTok at Not a Player Pod. All right, the Saints 5.5 is the number. I'll let one of you guys start. Whoever wants to go.
So I've seen 5.5. I've seen 4.5. I think it is 5.5, but the odds are just ridiculous. It's like minus 280 for the under, and I will be taking that under because this is the biggest gift of all time. This team only got 6 points in my points ranking, where I rank all the players.
Wait, what's that one? What's that? I've never heard of this.
Bill Simmons
Bill
comes up with
Simmons
this
has
points
one.
ranking, and it's just made up points that he does. But he's
He's
like, this
"And
team
on my
got
points
31
ranking,
points
they
in
got
my
an
system.
8." Doesn't even
So
really
these,
explain
basically, this team has no talent. I think they will have the first pick in the draft. I think they win 1 or 2 games this year. I would bet an alternate under.
what it is. I like that.
Alternate under to this lowest under.
Well,
Yeah, I would go alternate under to the lowest under.
That's hilarious. All right, Max, do you
I'm gonna
agree?
star this one.
I agree. Saints under for sure. They're a mass poverty franchise.
I
You're
agree
gonna, like,
too.
try to talk yourself into this. Okay.
No, this is a
Yeah,
clean
because
sweep.
Earlier you said this division might be better than you think, and I was like, you're not going to try to talk yourself into the Saints, are you?
No, but yeah. So this is an under for me. I agree with the alternate under angle as well at under 1.5.
Under one, all right, maybe like under 3.5 is more what I was thinking.
Under 1.5. I don't know why I find that so funny. I wonder what the odds are. All right, let's move to the Bucks. The number's 9.5. I'm gonna go last here. Max, why don't you go first?
I like the Bucks. Their offense is going to be, I think, buzzing with that new OC. Baker's a gamer. That's who I trust. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Baker. I got their over, and I think easy division.
Lewis?
I've got over as well. I think that this team has kind of got a little bit of a vibe going. I think they kind of have this division in their pocket a little bit. I think they kind of own the Falcons. I think they own the Panthers, and anyone can own the Saints. So, a team that's winning one game is going to lose both the games. The Bucks, I think that the Bucks can take the Falcons. Baker's the real deal. And any team that Baker's on with the weapons that he's got, Emeka Ibuka, Chris Godwin's going to come back. Mike Evans is good for 1,000 yards every year. Their defense is just solid, too. They're a solid team. I don't see them making a ton of noise come playoff time, like divisional round maybe, but Pencil them in for 10 wins.
This is one of my favorite picks. I've said that a few times now, but I really, 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 really like the Bucks this year. Hint towards Super Bowl picks. Um, I think they're a team like I agree with you, Lewis. I think they have a vibe going. I think every year they seemingly get better and better. I think Todd Bowles is an underrated like culture coach. He might look boring. He might be a coach you don't want to hire because he's so boring, but he does good things for your football team. A few things I like: Baker Mayfield to win the MVP at 25-1. Todd Bowles, Coach of the Year, 50-1. Bucks OC Josh Grizzard, Assistant Coach of the Year, 80-1.
Assistant coach of the year.
Baker Mayfield to lead the NFL in passing yards, 14-1. This division is going to be a bunch of high-scoring games. The Bucks are
What's
not only
Baker
fun to
lead
watch.
touchdowns?
I didn't see. I didn't find. I guess it's probably a thing, but I didn't see
I
that
like
one.
that better.
So I really like the Bucks this year. I think they win a lot of ball games. They might only win like 10 or 11 regular season games, but they're kind of to me a team that can win in the playoffs. So I really like the Bucks. All
They
right,
win.
division
They win
winner.
close games too.
They do.
And
They
they're
do.
pretty
I don't know.
calm.
Like I have faith in
Baker's a
them.
real
I think
deal.
Yeah.
he is. Bucky Irving's a stud. They got some guys on defense too. Anton Winfield Jr. Just a gopher-ridden team. All right. I'm taking the Bucks to win the division.
Yeah. Me too.
Lewis?
I'm taking the Bucks as well. We've
Okay.
had a couple take quakes on both these. I guess you picked 49ers for the other division.
That's true. All right. Finally, the NFC North. Let's start with the Chicago Bears. The number is 8.5. They are the adversary in week one. But right now, let's keep our biases aside. The number is 8.5, like I said. Ben Johnson's obviously there now. I like the over for the Chicago Bears. I think Ben Johnson is for real. That will show in another pick I have in this division. Their offensive line is better. I think Caleb Williams is due for a very big year. He'll probably get the ball out quicker. They've got some decent weapons. I like the over for the Bears.
Lewis, you
Max, you
wanna
go.
Okay. I am not a believer in Caleb. I think my mind's corrupted on him probably a little bit. Part of that's on me, but I don't think
That's on me.
I don't think he's like smart enough to play for Ben Johnson. I think his scheme is too much for Caleb to handle. I think there's gonna be a lot of growing pains this first year. Maybe they figure it out down the road, but I think it's gonna be tough.
He does play backyard football, and it's not
Literally.
really Ben Johnson type football.
No. I don't think their offense is going to be humming. I think they're going to come under a lot of scrutiny. And for that reason, I have their under.
Listen, just a point of order here. I remember last summer, people are kind of rewriting history a little bit. Because last summer coming into the NFL year, everyone was like, oh, Caleb Williams, this is the best situation a quarterback has ever came into with the receivers, with with everything. Like, he's got so many weapons. He's got good O-line. And all of a sudden now this year, everyone's saying that it was just a horrible situation. Like, I know things changed, but like, did it change that much? They got much better at the coaching position, but I think people are rewriting history on this Chicago team that wins the offseason 5 years in a row. And I just think that they don't have the quarterback, and that's all that it comes down to. Their defense is bleh. Their quarterback is a dud. And I just don't think they have a true identity. Maybe Ben Johnson will be able to kind of forge one in year two, but I don't see it happening in year one. So I have the under.
This is a kind of a 180 for you, though, on Caleb.
I thought he was going to be better coming out of college, but now I'm not really a believer after watching it.
I guess I don't think you guys are putting enough stock into just how bad the coaching was for the Chicago Bears last year. Not only the head coach, but the offensive coordinator
That's
situation
true.
was
Yes.
putrid.
It was pretty
And Ben
bad.
Johnson turned that Lions offense into a freaking juggernaut. And there's just as many weapons on this Bears team. So it might not be this year, but
Offensive line. The Lions have an unbelievable offensive line. The
And their
Bears have
rinky-dink,
not good.
trick plays last year that were working all the time. I just think it's going to be a mess with this Chicago offense.
I could see them starting the year very slow and then making a resurgence in the second half, but not
for
Still
9
coming
wins.
short of not enough time, and I'd be more nervous for them next year than this year.
Interesting. This could be partially because I watched one series of Bears preseason football when they had their starters in, and it looked like the
Well,
easiest drive of all
that's
time.
true. That's true. Do you remember last year's preseason when like Caleb Williams made like this unbelievable play where he like spun out of 3 guys and then threw like a great touchdown pass across his body, like 25 yards.
I don't remember that, but I do remember him throwing like a
And
screen
everyone was
pass
going
for 80
crazy.
yards. Yeah.
Yeah, and preseason doesn't mean anything, especially against a team.
But it looked
this isn't
really
bias anyway. This is no bias for the Bears. And are we going to move on to the next team where I definitely don't have a bias either against the?
Who do you want to move on to next?
Lions.
Which one?
I want to
Lions?
move on to the Dan Campbell coach Lions, who have lost both of their coordinators. And I think that this team will miss the playoffs and miss it badly. I could see 6 wins out of them. I could see 7 wins out of them. I think that without their coordinators, they are going to be lost. I do think Ben Johnson's a good coach, but I think his scheme just takes a year to figure out. And do we remember how bad Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell were in their first year? I think they went like 2 and something, whatever it would be back then. I think that they're going to be kind of a lost puppy this year. I don't think Dan Campbell's a good coach. I think he relied on his coordinators more than any other coach has ever relied on their coordinators ever. And they lost both of them. So I'm betting against this team. I don't care how good their roster is.
Talk you on
Back?
it?
You go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with Lewis. You can't win on vibes alone. That's all that guy's good for, Dan Campbell. I don't know if you saw him today just talking up Lambeau Field. It's heaven for football play. Like, his whole shtick is going to get very old this year when they start losing. And I'm taking their under as well. I don't think they're going to be able to replace what they lost on both sides of the ball.
They missed their Super Bowl window.
Shame.
This worries me. Because I'm on your guys' side. I like the under here, but I feel like every single person in the talking media world is also on this side, picking against the Lions.
Because sometimes people are right.
All I wrote down was losing Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn will haunt. And so I'm taking the under, but there's also just a world where they are the same team. So I don't know. Who knows? All right. Packers, numbers 9.5. I wrote down notes before the Micah Parsons trade, and all I wrote down was people are sleeping on the Packers. Well, I don't know if people are sleeping anymore. They're probably being talked about now more than any team. Is the number still 9.5 after the trade?
It is still 9.5.
Well, I had the over prior to the trade, and now I'm just going to emphasize the over even more. I thought people were sleeping on them. Matt LaFleur is a good head coach, even though he's kind of a weirdo. Jordan Love, I don't know how much I believe in him as a playoff quarterback, but I think they'll win enough games in the regular season to go over the 9.5 number.
Here's the thing. I think that Jordan Love is overpaid, and he'll be the reason that this team goes under. Again, this is not biased at all. I think that this team just doesn't have
Under. Wow.
Yep, under. We got 3 NFC.
Wonder where the Vikings
North teams,
numbers
we got
going.
3 unders. And
Completely non-biased.
I just don't trust their weapons here. I think that Matthew Golden has a chance to be good, but I just don't fully see it. I think their defense is meh. I think LaFleur is a good coach and gets the most out of his offense, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough. I could see them winning 9 games and go 9-8, but I think this might be a disappointing year for Packers fans.
You just made me like it even more. Yo.
I'm not going to lie. This is an emotional pick for me. I think this team could be good.
There's no way all 3 of these teams go under. They're great teams. All of them are good teams.
Yeah, I got to disagree with you, Lewis, as much as it pains me. I like their coaching staff. I've always been a Matt LaFleur fan, even though he coaches the Pack. I actually trust Jordan Love, too. I'm a believer. He was injured last year, essentially the majority of the season, and I think he's going to come out strong and establish some good weapons with Golden. I think they're going to run the ball well. I have their over, and makes me a little nervous.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to flip. I tried to talk myself into it. I couldn't talk myself into it. We're going over.
This shouldn't be allowed. This maybe shouldn't be allowed.
Why?
Because you were just talking all
that is
shit
kinda
about
crazy.
the Packers, and now you're going the over. Give me a reason you like the over. Why do you like the over, Lewis?
I think that they're young. I think that they'll be able to win in some tight games with Matt LaFleur being the coach. This division is just too good for 3 teams to go under, and if I've already got the Bears and Lions slated as under, they'll have to lose some games against someone, and those games will come against the Packers and the Vikings. So
It's over with an asterisk.
All right, it's an emotional over, but
All right. Final team, the Vikings. The number's 8.5. I guess I'll go first. I think the Vikings have the second best roster in the NFL outside of the quarterback position. They have a top, whatever you want to call it, top 3, 4, 5 head coach. A lot of people, my JJ McCarthy thoughts have been this. My stock on him has sort of slowly risen ever since we drafted him. I think a lot of it is Kevin O'Connell. I think a lot of it is the roster around him. I think what Sam Darnold was before he got here, what KOC has done with some no-name quarterbacks. I just don't see a world where JJ McCarthy isn't at least average. Some people are talking about how he could be, bad. I just don't see how he can be bad. No quarterback's been bad under Kevin O'Connell, and the roster around him is going to help. Even if he is bad, they're going to win 7 games. I don't see the world where that happens. I think if he's average, they win 9 games. And if he's very good, they win 11 plus games. And so I really like the over. I think the 8.5 number is slightly ridiculous. They won 14 games with Sam Darnold, and you could argue JJ is better and the roster is better.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Every person talking head that tries to convince himself on the under of this team conveniently leaves out Kevin O'Connell being the head coach. And Kevin O'Connell had a quote in The Athletic today where he was talking about how quarterbacks don't fail organizations, but organizations fail quarterbacks, that being rookie quarterbacks. And I just don't think that this organization is going to let a rookie quarterback fail under the current leadership that they have. The roster is too good around him, as you said, and I just think 8.5 is a little bit ridiculous as well. 9.5 would have been a more fair number. The only thing that is difficult about the number is how hard their schedule is. They have like a top 3 schedule in the league of teams that are good, but that can always flip too. And this team has such a good defense. Brian Flores coming back. The offensive line, which was low-key not in a great spot at the last year, got beefed up by those 2 new guards. Did we get a new center too?
Yep.
Yes. Kelly.
So whole interior O-line redone with our 2 tackles, Darrisaw and O'Neal, that are still fantastic. Just get through the first couple weeks without Addison. Thielen coming in helps. Brian Flores, I hope this isn't our last year with him, but this might be our last year with him because he might be going off and getting a new job next year. Max, go ahead. Easy over for me.
Super excited for this team, obviously. I think Fries and Kelly, like you touched on, were such big pickups for protecting JJ. I was a little nervous during training camp. Some of the Vikings media really like to talk about JJ's, like, how he is as a person rather than the play, which made me think maybe he didn't look great at training camp. But I think you can only put so much stock into that. I think Kevin O'Connell's going to steer the ship in the right direction, and he does have the belief to be a big-time player. And I think with the weapons, getting Jordan Addison back after 3 games, things are really going to start to click. But I don't think it's going to be super smooth sailing with how tough the schedule is, but it's definitely good enough for 9.
Yep, I agree. I think one point is, a couple points. I think the D tackles they brought in, Javon Hargrave, and I don't know if you'd consider Jonathan Allen a D tackle, but I think those guys are massive upgrades over Harrison Phillips and whoever the other one was last year, Jerry Tillery or whatever. I'm just excited. I'm kind of excited not to see Harrison Phillips and how small his helmet looked on his head.
He was pretty good.
I will always remember that Eagles game 2 years ago when they kept running the ball up the middle and Harrison Phillips couldn't do dick against it. Ever since then, I have not been a Harrison Phillips fan.
What about Harrison Phillips' forced fumble against the Bills?
Buffalo Bills, yeah. That was one of the coolest plays
that
the
was
Vikings
that was
regular
just a
season history
revenge
right
game.
there.
That was a revenge game. That was just all that was. And the other thing I was going to say is Jordan Mason. I think he's a massive pickup because I'm somewhat expecting Aaron Jones to get hurt at some point. And Jordan Mason being the backup is a lot better than Ty Chandler being the backup. And lastly, I think if we can't run the ball effectively this year, which we haven't been able to in any year that Kevin O'Connell has been the head coach, the excuse has always been the O-line, which is fine. But that's no longer an excuse. If they can't run the ball effectively this year, I think the question marks then point to O'Connell and maybe needing to change up some sort of scheme because I do think we need to be able to run the ball a little better if
Yeah, for
JJ
sure.
wants to
And I
reach
think
his
they
full
will.
potential.
Yeah.
I hope they do.
It's the
I think that
cornerback
Jordan
position that's a
Mason-
little nervous.
Jordan Mason, more than anything, eases the load for Aaron
For
Jones,
sure.
too.
Yes. Lewis, I agree. Who's our cornerbacks outside of Byron Murphy?
Got rid of.
We got that guy from the Eagles, Isaiah Rogers. I don't even Dwight McGlothern. Is that a person?
Yeah.
We're having to look
see.
it up.
Let's see. I'm looking it up right now. Byron
We no
Murphy,
longer
Dwight
have-
McGlothern, and that's all that's listed.
Sounds like a fake name. I can't lie.
I mean,
We got
Harrison
rid of
Smith,
Blackman,
hopefully
though,
he's
right?
back in time.
That was like a week ago.
Josh Metellus.
Yeah, tell us with Metellus. Yeah.
Tell us.
Who's a safety on the other side of Hitman now that Cam Bynum's gone?
Isn't it?
Jay Ward.
He's just
Is it
reading
Metellus?
it up.
Isn't it Metellus?
I think Metellus is the safety.
Yeah.
Jay Ward with a question mark?
Well, Jay Ward's like Harrison Smith's backup, it says. Josh Metellus is a strong
or,
safety.
Theo Jackson.
Yeah.
Theo
it's those two
Jackson
guys.
is the guy I think that might be getting some
And then
playing
like
time.
Isaiah Rogers and Jeff Okuda are the other corners.
I wouldn't expect much out of Jeff Okuda. That guy has been known as one of the bigger busts in what was a draft like 5 years ago. That guy's had a few too many stops now. Jeff Okuda, I wouldn't expect much from him. They don't have Gilmore anymore, which I saw a rumor of him maybe returning.
Maybe coming back.
But-
yeah. I
Yeah,
saw that.
so we'll
All right,
see.
division winners. I'm taking Minnesota.
Division winner in the NFC North.
I've got the Vikings.
Gosh, I haven't even made a decision here. Lewis, you go.
I already said Minnesota.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna take the Packers, and I don't love it,
Yeah.
but you know what? I think the Vikings make the playoffs as a wild card team if they don't win the division.
All right, we got any more final props, or then we can pick our Super Bowl?
What did I say Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, I remember saying that. Under 22.5 passing touchdowns for Rodgers. Christian McCaffrey lead NFL in rushing touchdowns 16-1 if he stayed healthy. Ted McMillan offensive rookie of the year 12-1. And yeah, that's it. Do we want to do Super Bowl picks?
Yep. I've got Buffalo over, and I hadn't really thought this far because I only had Buffalo. We're gonna go Buffalo over the Vikings.
I have Vikings over Baltimore. Battle of the Purple.
Thank you. I'm going to go with the Bills over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So Bills are a popular pick, but I like the Bucs to make the Super Bowl. All right. Anything else?
Looking forward to Week 1. We're going to put out a separate podcast for our Week 1 picks and preview. Will be an extremely short one, but then we'll get to the recap pod Sunday afternoon, probably releasing Monday morning, maybe Sunday night, depending on timing.
Yes, looking forward to it. Thanks everybody for listening. You can watch or listen, follow on all social media platforms. Other than that, enjoy the week of football. Peace out.